Hey everybody, this is Audible here, and today we'll be reviewing Transformers Animated Blurr. Blurr is an elite guard agent who first shows up in the episode Velocity, where he's one of the many race cars in Street Demons. Bumblebee thought Blurr was really a Decepticon because Bumblebee had a theory that he was the fastest thing around, and no, Earth car could drive that fast. However, it turns out Blurr was being controlled by an antenna from Master Disaster. So when he broke the control, Blurr was free, but he just said nothing, so he just drove off. In Transwarp, Bumblebee runs into Blurr again, and Bumblebee finally gets Blurr to reveal himself. Revealing just about that he's working for the elite guard. So Blurr, being an Autobot, helps Optimus stop Megatron in the space bridge. So when Blurr was trying to handcuff Skywarp, Thundercracker, who was cemented by Mixmaster, collides with Blurr and ends up going into the space bridge, where they transwarp somewhere far into the galaxy. In Transwarp, Blurr, along with Thundercracker and Skywarp, return, where Blurr finally breaks free and planet hops all the way back to Cybertron and makes it back into Longarm's office, where he actually finds out Longarm is really Decepticon Shockwave, and because Shockwave doesn't want anyone to know his secret, he pretty much crushes Blurr in a in a garbage compactor and gets Cliffjumper to dispose of this blue cube. We don't know if he is dead or alive right now. There was supposed to be a spark in the cube to represent he was alive, but that never made it into the cartoon. Okay, so onto the toy. You can see Blurr is a race car. He's blue, rolls very nicely. He's got a very nice Autobot Elite Guard logo. He's very hollow in the back. He's got a dark translucent windows, and he's got pretty hollow wheels. He has a little gimmick where, so when you press this little button here, an energy saw comes out. It's a pretty cool car. It's very slick. I really like it. Okay, so to begin the transformation, the first thing you have to do is take the saw off, or the front, or whatever. Second thing you have to do is you take this, take his legs, or what will become the legs. Then you take the little front piece here. You try to position the legs the way you want them to be positioned. You push the arms back to the way you want them. Try to rotate Blurr's legs around. Okay, that's an easier way. You rotate the wheels. Take his feet out. Then you just pull the arms down and rotate where you want them to go. Take this, fold that piece down, and then, rotate the head. And there you got Blurr in robot mode. Okay, so, you can tell Blurr suffers from lockdown syndrome because he is very tall. Okay, he's not as tall as Lockdown, but, he's pretty tall. Very hollow and very skinny. He's based off the Transsketch Cheetor. Got a lot of nice detailing. You can place the energy saw on the back of Blurr. Blurr's posability is pretty cool. Obviously the tires rotate. He's got, toe articulation, which is pretty rare to find on a toy. So it's nice that they did that. Head's rotatable 360 degrees. He's got these like little rubber pinhead, as I like to call him, and you know, on the lights, because, well, you know, so you don't poke your eye out. What kind of person would actually like to jab, you know, this stuff into some guy's eye? You know, the plastic. Okay, you can take out the energy saw and place it on his hand. He's got a peg there on both hands. Doesn't hold it into his hand, but it's actually on his arm. Take the saw blade out. He looks pretty cool. I mean, he does. I mean, he's just so cool. I mean, despite him being very hollow and suffers from lockdown syndrome, he's pretty cool. I think what I also liked about Blurr is the fact that he was revoiced by John Machida Jr., the guy who voices him back in G1, and is also the world's fastest talking man. That's pretty cool. Another thing I also noticed is that he's kind of a homage to the Mach 5 from Speed Racer. You know, his Altima looks like Speed Race, you know, the Mach 5 from Speed Racer. And what's even more interesting is Blurr is the fastest thing there is. You know, fastest fictional car in the world. You know, obviously being at the Mach 5. Don't know if it was intentional or not, but I don't care. He's so cool. Blurr is one of my favorite deluxes. I highly recommend them. He's just so cool. I mean, this guy's a perfect 10. He's a guy you should definitely have if you're an anime fan. So this is Audible with Anime Blurr, signing